Wire weaving time. We're using 3 base wires, and these are the weaves that we're going to be doing today. I'm Gail, Beaded Jewelry Diva, and let's see what it takes to make these weaves. For this first weave, I'm going to use 16 gauge wire in copper, and I'm also going to use 26 gauge wire, and I'm using a blue color so you can more easily see the pattern develop. What you'll do first is take your 26 gauge wire, find about the center of it, and then make a loop. Then you'll pick up one of your wires and slide it over the loop, tighten it up, and I like to make one more wrap just to secure it. Now pick up the other 2 wires and and don't drop them. Pick up the other 2 wires and lie them on top of your 26 gauge wire. Now to start this weave, you'll take your first side, move it up and over the bottom and middle, or the top and middle, and then through the bottom and middle. Take this wire and move it across the top between the bottom and the middle, and then between the top and the middle, and go over the top. So it will look like this. Now if you notice, both of these wires are coming across the top. You'll be doing this again, but this time you'll be wrapping to the back, up between the top and the middle wire, down between the bottom and the middle wire, and you're going to be coming out the bottom. Same thing for the top, wrap to the back, between the bottom and the middle, wrap up between the top and the middle, and like this, and then compress it. Now I'll show it to you one more time, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like after it's been woven a bit. So again, now we're coming out from the back, across the top 2, or the middle and the top, up through the middle and the bottom, again from the top down, between these 2, up between these, pull, and then let's compress. So this is what it looks like when the weave is more completed. You can see it's pretty much the same on the back and the front, and you can see it forms little X's, which is kind of cool. Now let's go to the next weave. Now you start this one the exact same way, so I've wrapped the loop around the middle wire, and I've got the 2 ends coming out of either end. And you'll start it once again the same way, in that you'll take it from behind, and then you'll wrap it around the middle, come back through, but this time you're going to coil it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and you're coming out of the back. I'm going to compress them, and then I will take the other wire, bring it across, down between the bottom and the middle, and then wrap it 3 times. So 1, 2, and just about 3. Okay, 3, and then wrap it to the back, compress. So here it is. This is the weave when it looks a little bit more finished. So this is the front and the back. And this is a great weave to use if you plan on doing any join work. So in other words, you want to join another piece of weaving to this, because as you can see, there's a good amount of space in between the coil and the next wire up here. So anyway, here's this one. So let's go on to the next weave. If you've enjoyed the video up to this point, how about doing me a favor and pressing that like button, because it'll help more people like you find this video. Thanks, and let's go on. Now I've started it pretty much the same way by the loop around the middle wire, and then I've coiled 3 times around each of the outside wires, and my wires are once again coming from below, and this time we're going to use some beads. I'm sliding on a bead. Now I'm taking my wire, it's coming from the back, wrapping it over between the top and the middle, between the bottom and the middle, and then I'll do the same thing on this side. So this looks pretty much the same as the very first weave, doesn't it? At this point, I slide on another bead, and this time, because my wire is coming from the top, I wrap it to the back, between the top and the middle, between the bottom and the middle, and same thing for this, around the back, and like this. So here it is a little further along, and on this side of it though, I wanted to show you something a little different. So I only did 1 set of wraps in between each one of these beads, and here I did 2 series before I did each bead. So it gives it a slightly different look, but I think it's kind of neat. So you can vary the number of wraps you put in between each bead. Now I've started this one very much like the very first weave, and I've done 2 sets, and now here comes the difference. Okay, so now I have my 3 wires that are coiled. I've slid on a bead, and coming from behind, once again, I'm going to wrap over between the top and the middle, and then I'm going to make 3 coils around the middle wire. Then come back and over. This should look very familiar. I'm going to do the same on this side. So now it looks like this. Okay, what we're going to do next is take this wire, which is now coming from the outside, and coil 5 times around the outside. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll do the same on this other side. So now it's like this, and now we slide on the next bead. Once again, take the wire, now it's coming from the top, so wrap it back behind, coil 3 times. And then around the back. Same thing for the other side. And then you will coil 5 times around this, just the same as you've done previously. And I will show you what it looks like when the weave is more fully developed. So here's this weave. Now I've used copper beads. You could certainly use other kinds of beads or even seed beads for this. All right, so here's the way this one looks, and we've got another weave that we need to go over, and that one is, shall we say, a little different. This weave starts out the same, but what we'll do is between the top and the middle, and then what I will do is I will coil around once around the middle, and I will leave this wire to the back. So instead of bringing it back here, I'm leaving it straight to the back. Now I take this wire up and over between the middle and the bottom, coil around once, and then bring this one out to the side and move this one to the back or to the other side. So in other words, I've crisscrossed the wire because this wire was originally on this side. So again, bringing it up and over between the top and the middle, coiling once around the middle, leaving it to the back. This next one I'm bringing over across the top, between the middle and the bottom, coil once around, and then bring this over to the side. And of course, the other one to the other side. So in effect, you are crisscrossing the wires. So here we go. This is what it looks like from the front. And here's what it looks like from the back. So you can see that there are two very different looks from this one weave, which makes it very interesting. One thing that's very useful is to make some sort of little wire clip or use a paper clip and put all your wire weavings on it. This way you always have some sort of library in order to decide if what you want to do for a particular project. Here's another set from my library using 3 base wires. I'll link this video up above and you can see that one, but let's see one more library that I have. And here's one I did using 4 base wires. So like I said, go ahead and make yourself a little library of different kinds of weaves. A tip for working with beads. Now you can see that I've got some good spacing here, but a lot of times it's very narrow on the bottom when you first start out. Here's a tip. Go ahead and put a bead on before you begin your weave, and that will keep your spacing even as you start weaving. Another tip is if I have to lay down my work, I like to leave it with the wires coming out of the back. That way I know that this is going to be the back and this is going to be the front, and I know the direction I need to go when I'm starting up again. So here are the weaves that we did today in the blue wire, and here are some weaves in the copper wire. So question for you, do you like the look of the craft wire better, or do you like the look of the all copper wire, and which is your favorite weave? Well, I'd love to hang out with you some more, but got to get making some more videos for you. So meanwhile, hope you'll enjoy some of my other videos here on screen, and catch you later. Bye. Before I go on, if you're enjoying the video up to this point, please go ahead and drop the beads.